What's up, body people, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another dupe, dead, or better, where we test out popular high-end products with their potential dupes. So the popular high-end products that I have today isn't necessarily popular, like the brand itself just isn't very popular, I feel like, but it is a new product, so it may get popular, more well-known at some point, but I don't really know. But I have seen this swatched on Instagram and stuff, and I was very intrigued. So this is the Laura Geller Dewdreamer Illuminating Drops in the shade Gilded Honey. So the Gilded Honey shade is a very popular powder highlighter. I haven't tried that. I do want to, but I went over to the drugstore side of the Ulta because that's where I like to live. And I saw these Ulta Beauty highlighting drops at the end of a display, and not only did I notice that the color is very similar, like the shade of gold, but also the packaging. I mean, look at the packaging of these two. The Ulta one's a little bit bigger, but I don't know if that's what it's trying to be. Like, I don't know if it's trying to dupe the Laura Geller one or if it's trying to dupe the Cover FX ones and just different packaging. But I'm going to put these side by side on my face today. We're going to do a test. I'm not going to do a wear test because I'm not going to be home today. I will have updates in the description box below of how they wore, but we're really just going to pay attention to how they look on my skin and how they apply and all that stuff. So I will have my entire Dupe, Dead, or Better playlist linked at the end of this one in a big old card with the music and the outro and all that stuff. So make sure you wait till the end of the video because you'll see all the videos. Just click on the playlist. You'll see all the ones that I've done over the years, and there are a lot of really, really good dupes. So the Laura Geller drops are $32. That's quite a bit of money. And then the Ulta highlighting drops are a whopping $10. So they're a fraction of the cost. Okay, so I went ahead and put on some under eye concealer so that when I put on the highlighter, I won't be covering it up or anything. So let's go ahead and shake up the Ulta ones and let's apply it to this side. I'm pretty excited because I swatched these in store and they looked really, really pretty. They looked really intense, and I had a hard time like removing the swatch. Like, it seemed that it set really fast. So obviously it has a little medicine dropper, and it seems to be pretty thick. Like, it's not like super runny or anything. There we go. See, it's like a plop. Plop. So it kind of has like a, ooh, like a bronzy aspect to it. So I feel like a little bit of this will go a really long way. I probably got way too much of that, so I'm gonna have to put some of that back in the jar. Let's just, ooh. So I'm gonna start out applying it with a sponge. This is the Miracle Eraser sponge, I think, from Real Technique. So let's just pounce this in. And once again, I don't have anything on my face aside from foundation and concealer under my eyes, but no powder, no highlighter, nothing. And some products apply better with a sponge, some apply better with your finger, and then there's some that apply better with a brush. So I'm gonna try it all the ways. But this seems to be working pretty well. A lot of times the sponge will soak up too much product and then there's like no pigmentation left. And this doesn't really have any shimmer or any kind of like sparkle or glitter to it. It's not even really like a frost. It just gives you like a straight up sheen. And I think that's the best and it's most suitable for every skin type, because if you have large pores or oily skin or texture, acne, redness, whatever, you really need to find a highlighter like that that's just a straight up sheen so that it doesn't emphasize all that. And this is definitely doing that. So I do want to apply just a little bit more just to see how it looks with a brush. Actually, let's apply it with my finger first, because if some people don't have a brush or a particular sponge for it, we're going to see if it will work like this. Okay, that's working, but I don't really like using my finger for stuff like this because I feel like it leaves like a fingerprint and it kind of picks up the product and stuff. But it's definitely doable. Let's do a little bit of highlighting action with a brush now. Okay, once it sets, you can't really build it up a whole lot. It kind of sets to almost like a powder finish. Like, it almost like it doesn't want to move around anymore, which is a good thing, but you can't really layer it a whole lot. So that's fine, but we're gonna go in one more time with my sponge and just make sure it's all meshed in. I would say the sponge is the best way to go. I found these little Miracle Eraser sponges at TJ Maxx for like $3 for a pack of 2, I think. So I really do like these for highlighting with cream products. But that is very, very pretty. Like, whoa, that's intense. So the Laura Geller ones have a run for their money because that's very impressive. So I will say with the Laura Geller ones, you absolutely have to shake these up, which I would recommend shaking up any kind of like highlighter drop or anything in a liquid form. But this one's almost like, I don't know if it's oil or if it's water, but it's kind of like it's separating. I don't know if you guys can see that. I did shake it up a little bit, but I don't think you can see it. So here's a Laura Geller one. Here's the Ulta one. As you can see, the Ulta one is a little bit bigger, and I'm sure that's just because the product is so much thicker that it has to be bigger. But I can already tell that the Laura Geller ones are a lot more watery and liquidy. So here's what it looks like when you swatch it out. As you can see, it's running. Like, it's pretty dang liquidy. So I'm going to use the opposite side of this sponge, but I'm going to use the same sponge And we're going to pop this in the same area. Okay, right off the bat, definitely not as intense. That is a very, very subtle glow. This one's a lot more natural. If you like more of like a bling, like blinding highlight, this one, the Ulta one, is definitely the way to go. Like, you can see it. That's real pretty. So I'm gonna try it now using it with my finger and seeing if maybe the sponge just picked up way too much product. But I can even tell on my finger, like, it feels more oily. And if you have oily skin, that's something that you probably don't want to use. But like this one is what I was talking about with using my finger. It's like it's not really blending out. It just wants to keep spreading. It doesn't want to actually set. So let's try a brush now. Let's just try to blend that out. I don't know how I feel about that. Like it almost just looks like I'm shiny right there. Like it looks like my makeup's worn off or something. I'm gonna go in with my sponge again and kind of press it down. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised because in the pictures, these looked really, really intense. Like, that's why I wanted to pick them up. And that's why when I swatched the Ulta ones, I was like, oh, based on those pictures, that's going to be really good. I feel like the Ulta one's more suitable for all skin types because, you know, like I said, it's not oily feeling or like it doesn't make your face look greasy or anything. And it's very, very easy to maneuver and blend out. But I will say once it sets, it sets. Like, this is not transferable. Oh, I'm so happy about that because if you have oily skin, this will definitely be something that works. Like, I'm trying to find a clean finger that won't show transfer. Like, see, nothing's getting picked up. It's not moving anything around. It's not leaving fingerprints or anything. It's very transfer resistant, it seems like. I'm going to give this one time to set. I was about to touch it. I'm going to give this one time to sit, and we're going to do the same little test with it. But honestly, I just feel like the Ulta one's beating it out. So here's what they look like side by side. Really, the colors aren't that similar. They look a lot more similar in the bottles than what they do swatched out, but here is the Laura Geller side. The Laura Geller side is definitely more of a honey, like a honey gold, I guess you could call it. So I feel like you can see the undertone better back here. As you can see, the Ulta one is definitely more high shine or reflective. It reminds me a lot more of the Cover FX Custom Enhancer drops because those are like mirrors. Like you could almost see your reflection in them. They're so high shine. And the Laura Geller one's just kind of like more subtle, more natural and stuff. I'm also going to let these dry on the back of my hand and we're going to try to rub them and stuff and see how they do. So I'm gonna go into the Laura Geller side now and just kind of like touch around, and yeah, this definitely doesn't seem like it's set and it's picking up the product. So it's definitely not transfer resistant. So yeah, on the back of my hand, the Laura Geller one still wants to move around and spread, which, you know, that could be a good or bad thing. You have more work time with it, but the Ulta one doesn't really want to move. Like, it's already set. Okay guys, so I'm back with a full face of makeup on now. I wanted to show you what it looked like with the whole shebang going on. I did not touch the highlighters whatsoever with powder. I mean, if a little bronzer or a little blush got on it, I couldn't really control it, but I did not put anything directly on top of the highlighter. So here is the Ulta side. Here's what we got going on now. The intensity definitely did fade a little bit once the powders and stuff started going on it. I mean, you can't really avoid all powders completely, but I mean, it's still pretty intense. But I will say at this point, I probably would want to top it off with something. Here is the Laura Geller side. So honestly, it looks like nothing's been put on this side. Like, it looks like I didn't put anything on. So I've got the ISO turned down really low, so hopefully you can see. But here's the Ulta side, and it's just really, it turned out to be really natural. I would have preferred the way it looked before. Like, I mean, this is really pretty and stuff, but you guys know me. I'm a highlighter whore. But my pores, they're not emphasized or anything. I mean, it's a perfect highlight. So here's the Laura Geller side. It just looks a bit more messy, I feel like. Maybe I just need to blend better. I don't really know what happened on this side, but it just kind of went downhill rather fast. So let's go ahead and answer the infamous question that we're all asking. Is the Ulta Highlighting Drops a dupe? Is it a dud, or is it better than the Laura Geller Dewdreamer Drops? And in my opinion, based on just how they apply and stuff, and like I said, I don't know how they wear, the Ulta ones have the Laura Geller ones beat by a long shot. In my opinion, for $10 versus $32, there's no comparison. So I'm calling these better. So there you go. And once again, I will put in the description box below updates on how these wore today. I'm not going to put a powder highlight on top. I'm going to see how each of these wear on their own. But I can go ahead and tell you that the Ulta ones will wear better because they already set. And they set to like a powder finish and they're not moving. I can already tell that the Laura Geller ones, I mean, it's almost non-existent now. So imagine like 8 hours from now. So thank you all so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay till the end for my entire dupe playlist. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have a little button right down there. I'm giving you guys basically a chore list. But also hit the notification bell because a lot of people say that they don't see my videos anymore or that YouTube's just randomly unsubscribing from me. So make sure you hit the bell so that you see my videos because you don't want to miss out. We have a lot of fun here. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.